Hey everybody, it's your boy Pee Wee back with another video. Today is just I've read a lot of slop in my day, and like as an avid is that the word avid avid slop enjoyer. Even this one is pretty bad. Now, if you don't know what this comic is, essentially it's called I'm the Great Immortal. As you can see, it has let me zoom in for you guys. 800 chapters. And before you start thinking, oh, 800 chapters, Chinese comic, if it has that many chapters, surely it's decent because then if it wasn't, it would have been axed. And no. You would be extremely wrong in thinking that. Um, I also want to point out it does have a harem tag, but the harem like net like basically doesn't exist because like yes, there's like females that like throw themselves at him, kind of, and like there's a lot of female characters around him, but his heart is dead set on like one female from his previous life. Essentially, our main character he regresses back in time. He gets basically killed in the immortal world because he had something that others wanted, like hand over the book, seal yourself, we'll let you live. He said, we'll just all die together. And so basically he blows himself up, yada yada yada, regresses back in time. He's extremely OP. It's one of those modern cultivation comics where our main character is like extremely overpowered, more so than everybody else. And so like there's a lot of face slapping, a lot of young masters getting face slapped. He's going, you know, what was that quote from the main character of Top Tier Providence? It's like, you kill the small one, a big one comes, you kill the big one, an even bigger one comes. That's like the whole premise of this comic, where it's like he starts out, getting revenge for his like father and whatnot. That's like his whole main goal at the point is like, his father was killed in his previous life. He wants to undo that, basically, prevent his father from dying. So anyone that offends him or his father, they die. And, it just keeps going on like that over and over and over again until eventually he becomes like, he basically like overpowers like everybody up his way up the hierarchy tree, face slapping everybody left and right. It is a very face slapping comic. But there's a lot of reasons why I will say, despite loving slop, why I don't like this one. It like the fight scenes themselves kind of look like they have watercolor. This was feels like that's what they were painted in. Like if we go, say we wanted to go to like let's just go to like 550, like right, like and they're fighting or not. Like it just looks like watercolor paint to me. Like I don't know, like no, it doesn't feel like the details really there in these fights or stuff that like should have been right. Like it just looks like kind of like watercoloring to me. I don't know. Like there's not a lot of detail. There's not like too much. Like even this foot looks really like does that even look like a normal human foot to you? Like does this dude just have like massively swollen ankles or something? Like I don't know. Like there's just a lot in this comic where it's like the characters are kind of just dumb. There is like a little demon lolly girl who's like very funny and interesting. But other than her, like I didn't like a lot of the characters. Our main character is just like overpowered, does whatever he wants, right? To hell with anybody else. So it's kind of enjoyable for a little bit, to watch him face slap everybody. But like after some point, like I need something other than face slapping. Like the plot to this comic doesn't even seem to start till about chapter like 400, because like the first 400 chapters just him face slapping everybody, working his way up the hierarchy. And then at some point he asks his father like, "Hey, what happened to my mother?" And then he's like, "Well, I'm not going to tell you about your mother because you're not strong enough. You're too weak." And then like a couple hundred chapters later, he's like, "Hey, my mother," and then like his father finally tells him. And then at some point in like chapter 400, that's like he's like, "Oh, well now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go to this go from like hometown to imperial like capital city type thing. The capital city. He's like, I'm going to go rescue my mother." And it's like it takes him 400 chapters, what it feels like, to actually get a sense of direction for this comic's plot. And I don't know, like it's like 800 chapters. It's still going on, by the way. Like if we scroll down on manga updates, like it has 853 chapters and it is still ongoing. Um, yeah, I mean, like 853 chapters of just pure brain dead slop. And like, don't get me wrong, As I said, I'm an avid enjoyer of face slapping Chinese comic power fantasies, like harem enjoyers. Like it's I'm a loser chud. I don't. I read the slop. I eat that shit up, right? Like I do. It's just at some point, I think my biggest issue was reading all like pretty much all 800 chapters over the course like in a straight. Like I didn't have like a palate cleanser of like a different comic or something. If you are going to read this comic, like if you want to sit down and read it all in one sitting or just like without any breaks in between, go for it. It just I read this comic so you don't have to, right? That's why I make these reviews. That's why I make these stuff. So if you don't, if it's I make a video about something, you're like, oh, that's not actually doesn't sound that great. I don't want you to waste your time, right? Like let me waste my time so you don't have to. And this comic is just like it had 800 chapters and it is still ongoing, and it is crazy to me that there's comics that get axed after like 50 that are just so much better. But I will say, like, as you can see, like I showed you the fight scenes or whatever. The worst part about it is that after like chapter like 600, like if we go to if we yeah, so like if we just go to the last chapter, right? Like, let's just go to chapter 800. The art style just gets really bad and ugly, and like even more so than it was. Like at least here, like he has like like chiseled face and like the like you can see like actual like normal proportions, and then now it's just like you get like blocky rectangle what seems to be like AI assisted art style, and it's like, is this really the same main character? Like are we serious? Like this is what we're doing here? This is it, and it's just, oh my gosh, does it just this comic just, the more you read it and the longer you read it, the seemingly worse it just seems to get. So I don't know. I don't want to waste too much more time on this. Is it a recommend? I mean, if you like slop and you want to torture yourself and you have literally nothing else to read, go for it. But overall, there's just so much better stuff to read that I definitely, you just shouldn't waste your time unless you're going into it with the mindset of this is not a good comic. I'm wasting my time. You know, all power to you. All power to you. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, that'll be it for this video. Leave a like, leave a sub, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.